All right, good afternoon, everyone. This is Blair Stoll from the National Weather Service in Tallahassee. This is the 2:30 p.m. Eastern Time update briefing for Hurricane Dorian. So as of the latest advisory, Dorian has a max sustained winds of 150 miles per hour. Its location is about 385 miles east of West Palm Beach, and the movement is to the west at 8 miles per hour. This track will continue over the next day or two, but forward speed is expected to slow down with an eventual turn to the north beginning late Sunday into Monday. So the big changes from this time yesterday, the official track has shifted well offshore the Florida and Georgia coast. The probability of tropical storm force winds into our area has decreased significantly, and overall rainfall amounts from Dorian has decreased as well. However, I will caution, do not let your guard down. A landfall on the Florida coastline is still within the cone of uncertainty, so we shouldn't just back off just yet. If there was a shift westward, this would bring significant impacts back into our area. At this time, much of the heavy rainfall threat will be focused from the Florida Big Bend eastward, and tropical storm force winds could begin as soon as Monday afternoon across the Florida Big Bend and then spread north and west with time. So we'll go over those probabilities here in just a second. So overall, the tropical storm force wind speed probabilities have trended further east and northeast as the track has shifted eastward over the last couple of updates. Therefore, the probabilities have decreased across the tri-state area. So locally, the chance for tropical storm force winds has decreased. So it was across the Florida Big Bend and to our eastern flank of counties yesterday a 4 to 5 in 10 chance of seeing tropical storm force winds. Now you'll see that has been decreased to around a 3 to 10 chance from Cross City to Valdosta, roughly a 2 in 10 chance from Tifton down to Apalachicola, and a 1 in 10 chance or even less than that west of that line. Now remember, these probabilities are based on the current track of Dorian and could increase or decrease based on the fluctuation in the track of Dorian. So here's the earliest reasonable time of arrival graphic, and you'll see that the tropical storm force winds, the earliest reasonable time is now Monday afternoon into Tuesday morning from the Florida Big Bend north and west with time. And then the most likely time of arrival graphic here, the most likely time of arrival of tropical storm force winds is Tuesday afternoon now. As you would expect with the track shifting further eastward, the axis of heaviest rainfall is tracking eastward with it. And so rainfall totals through next Saturday. We're looking at the heaviest rainfall in the Florida Big Bend between 2 to 4 inches. And then further north and west across southwest and south central Georgia around 1 to 3 inches. And then even further west still, Florida Panhandle into southeast Alabama, roughly around 1 to 2 inches. And so the key takeaways for today, the official track and the track guidance all has shifted further eastward. Probability of tropical storm force winds has decreased, and the overall rainfall amounts have decreased as well. However, don't let your guard down. The landfall in Florida is still in that cone of certainty, so let's continue to be vigilant on the track and keep our eyes on it. If the track did shift further westward, this would bring significant impacts back into our CWA and our tri-state area. At this time, much of the heavy rainfall threat will be focused across the Florida Big Bend and well eastward. And if we had tropical storm force winds, the earliest onset would be Monday afternoon across the Florida Big Bend. And so we'll hold another briefing tomorrow at 2:30 p.m. I will go ahead and wrap up this briefing for now. Unmute everybody. If you have any questions, please ask. Thank you.
Call recording is off. Everyone can talk now.
All right, everyone's unmuted if you guys have any questions.
are now muted. Press star 6 to unmute your line.
Do it this way. If you have a question, dial star 6. I can hear you. Just ask your question.
Hey, this is Ashley from Lowndes County.
Yeah, go ahead, Ashley.
So do you have any insight into what the Hurricane Center's thinking as far as, the steering currents and that kind of thing? I guess give me some insight into what their confidence is as far as, have they basically split the difference of models, and there's just as much likelihood of this thing coming back to the west? I'm kind of thinking in my mind back to Irma, how they shifted it far east and then it ended up coming back to the west. So I didn't know, when they would maybe have a better idea of when the conditions are going to let this thing start making that northward turn.
Yeah, I think with the shift eastward in the tracks, I know that the Central Plains offices, the Northeast Weather Service offices were releasing balloons at this time yesterday, and so we got a real good sampling of upstream features that were going to go into the eventual track of Dorian, and so the official track has been on basically the west side of most of the guidance. Now, don't get me wrong, there's still some model ensemble members that are still going into the peninsula of Florida, but for the most part, the bigger, more reliable models that the Hurricane Center and that we use to go into track forecasting is either along their track or a little bit further eastward from their track. So there is still wiggle room into move either east or west, but right now they are on the left side of the guidance. And so the track clustering from this time yesterday till today has gotten a lot better. There was a lot of uncertainty this time yesterday, but the models are coming into better and better agreement during this time frame, and so I think that leads into some better confidence in the track forecast, if that answers your question.
It does. And one follow-up question. So even if we're not impacted directly by winds and rain, do you have any information? I know it's outside of your service area, but I'm also wondering what kind of impacts, like coastal Georgia, what kind of storm surge, because that would give me a little insight into thinking what they're expecting, because, that's kind of been my thoughts, that if we don't get hit by the storm, we're going to get hit by evacuees. So just trying to gauge, how much of an impact you're expecting based on this track.
Yeah, that's a good question. Yeah, I can contact you offline after this is over with, and I can pull up some stuff and maybe answer your question that way. I don't have it offhand, but I can get back to you just right after this call.
Sounds good. Thank you.
All right, thanks. Any other questions?
So do you expect this hurricane to be a Cat 4?
It's a Cat 4 right now, as far as you expect. What time frame are you looking for? Because, it is a Cat 4 at 150 now. It will gradually, when it begins to turn, slow down and turn. The official forecast does have it weakening slightly as it's moving north off the Florida and Georgia coastline.
What certainty is that with, do you think?
I'm sorry, go ahead.
What percentage would you put that at? That's going to turn north.
A percentage, well, I can give you a solid, a number, but it's a really good probability, because most of the models are trending that way, where it's slowing down in the Bahamas, and then as the ridge weakens, the steering flows weaken. It will start to move northwest and northward, not make impacts on Florida, and so most of the models are in really good agreement of that. So I can't really give you a number as far as a percentage, but it's a pretty good likelihood that it'll track that way.
Thank you.